この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight Episode 2. We got a bunch of things that I want to talk about before we actually dive into it, so let's get cracking. First, and all of these things are kind of tangentially related, and then we'll get into the directly related things, and then we'll get into the show. Okay, that. Also, it's hard to fucking speak. If I stutter or like speak weird, I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can see it, but like right here on my tongue, right on the left side of the tip of my tongue, there are like 3 or 4 inflamed taste buds, and they're extremely painful, and they're right at the tip of my tongue. So every time I like say anything, it fucking hurts. Urgh. Anyway, I'm getting through it, and it's not the worst thing in the world. But if I lisp a little bit or anything like that, that's probably why. Because it really hurts to make S sounds and T sounds and stuff. I'll deal with it, but it's the worst. And it's just a random thing that occurs, and apparently should go away in a couple of days. It's been happening to me for a long time, but intermittently every like 3 or 5 months. I don't know. It sucks. Anyway, totally way further than even being tangential. Let's talk about Revue Starlight. First thing that we need to talk about is the idea of the review, specifically a particular review in Japan that you probably have heard of called the Takarazuka Revue, the all-female stage troupe that was created as kind of a response to kabuki theater and to create an outlet for women to do things in public and on the stage and stuff, but there's lots of controversy around the actual gendered issues surrounding the Takarazuka Revue, especially the idea of top star, which is something really, really critical in Revue Starlight, because we've got this position 0 thing, which is essentially that. In the real Takarazuka Revue, only the otokuyaku, the women who play men, can have the role or the place in the hierarchy, or whatever you want to call it, of being top star. What does that mean for Revue Starlight? I have no idea, but it seems important. And the division between otokuyaku and musumeyaku, the girls who play guys and the girls who play girls, is also really important. How is that going to factor into Revue Starlight? I don't really know. On a surface level, we could say that, like, Karen seems to be an otokuyaku just because of the short hair and the generally boyish persona that she takes on, and the sort of like the princeliness that I talked about with her in the previous episode, but we really don't know. Okay, so there's that stuff, and then there's the historical context, which is that anime and manga has been deeply influenced by Takarazuka since the beginning. Osamu Tezuka, the guy who, basically created the medium, essentially, was heavily influenced by the review. He grew up in the town where it was founded and was deeply influenced by it. A lot of his characters end up playing with the idea of females in masculine roles. One critical example would be Dororo, Dororo, which was the anime that came out a little while ago, where we've got a young female character who pretends to be a boy for safety, in a sort of a jidaigeki setting, but with fantasy stuff. All kinds of things like that, the first or core of which was Princess Knight, Tezuka's Princess Knight, which had deep and important influence on Utena, another princely character, or a female character acting like a prince, which in turn has also heavily influenced Revue Starlight. So there's this sort of incestuous, and not in a bad way, incestuous, like, set of references that feed into one another, and then we're sort of going back to the original starting point and then applying all of those references post-evolution, like evolving through different art forms, through Utena and the influences that has had, through Princess Knight and the influences that has had, through all of Tezuka's works and the influences that those have had. We're taking all of that stuff that's come out of Takarazuka, and now we're returning to the subject matter at the core of it, which is the actual stage play and the gendered stage play at its core, which is really interesting. Anyway, all of that, no idea how it's actually going to influence the story or like themes of Revue Starlight, but it's there and we've got it, and it's information, and it's probably valuable, so I wanted to point it out. Okay, moving on from there, let's talk about subs. I'm switching subs. The shouldn't be a huge or super noticeable change. Last episode, the first episode, we watched the PAS, the Chupas subtitles. This time I'm using the Ripple subtitles. They would have gone up in the last week or two. They're a subtrack that has been made or remixed or whatever you want to call it by somebody who exists within my Discord and recommended that I use these, and a couple of other people in the Discord also said, yeah, that's probably a good idea. They should be the same as the Chupa subs with just a couple of mild changes to, I believe, if I remember correctly, some of the coloration around some of the text to match the characters it's supposed to actually match, and some of the songs are better translated, I think. Gail, I'm sure you're listening to this, but remind me if there are other changes that I should keep note of, but from what I remember, it's mostly the Chupa subs with mild changes on those fronts. Okay, so I'm switching to the Ripple subs. You can go and grab them off of Nya. They're still available. If you're using the Chupa subs, probably won't notice too much of a difference. Boom. What else? What else do I want to talk about? Got subs, got that. We can actually talk about the show. No, we can't. We got to talk about Overture. Right. Manga. There's a manga. It's a prequel manga. It's called Overture. You can go and read it if you go ahead and Google it. I went and read it on Tachiyomi. I forgot which of my catalogs actually worked on Tachiyomi, but I found it on Manga Park. That's the one I found it on. And it is Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight Overture. There are, I think, 12 chapters. I was told to read the first 9. I read the first 9. For the most part, they were pretty simple slice-of-lifey things that didn't seem to have much bearing on plot stuff. Mostly slice-of-life vignettes that give us a little bit more insight into particular characters. A little bit on Karen, but not so much. A little bit on people like Banana and people like Hoshimi, so that we've got a bit of better grounding on who these characters are and how they're going to interact. Hoshimi being the sort of student council president type, Banana being kind of a goober, but also wanting to look out for other people and being helpful and stuff, and super sweet and being a fucking banana. Yeah, all kinds of little things like that. So I was recommended to read it. It definitely doesn't strike me as required reading now that I've actually read it, but it probably would have been helpful to read before the first episode, because then I wouldn't have had quite the same reaction to the flood of characters as they enter the dance room and oh Jesus, holy shit, what have I gotten into? This is way too many characters. Because I would have at least had a grounding on some of them and been like, oh, it's Hoshimi, oh, it's those two, oh, it's okay. Yeah, you get the point. All right, and now we've done manga, check, and we can actually move on to what happened last episode, which is a difficult question to answer because some of it happened, and some of it didn't happen, and some of it kind of happened, and some of it is just really unclear whether it happened and how much of what happened was real. But that's kind of cool, and kind of why it works, because there's this weird layer to it where it's kind of difficult to tell what's real and what's not, and that, of course, makes it feel like an Ikuhara show, because part and parcel to pretty much every Ikuhara show is like, okay, these are the things that are happening definitely in reality, and now I'm confused. That's how it always goes. It's like, okay, Utena, she's a girl, but she dresses as a boy because she has this dream in her head about being a prince, and now there are shadow puppet girls talking, and we're on top of this weird dueling location, and now they're fighting with swords and shit, and also magic staircases. Wait, what? Yeah, so Starlight feels like that, where it's like, okay, Karen's a girl, she's going to school, she has a roommate, great, she made a promise with a friend a long time ago, great. She gets to school, they practice dance and stuff, awesome. This is excellent. And dream sequence on the top of Tokyo Tower getting pushed off by your old friend who you made a promise with in the deep and distant past, because I'm confused. But it was awesome. And then we go again. Oh, we're getting ready for Starlight. It's a real play being put on by these characters who all exist in this school, where they're trained to be stage actresses and stage girls and dancers and singers and multi-talented stars. And they're getting ready for it, and they're really excited. And this is the second time they put on this particular play. And we're all excited to get auditioned for it. And phone call, and we're underneath the school, a million miles underneath. And it's a crazy fucking battle arena with a talking giraffe and also giant towers that are behind us and a gem star thing that seems to be super powerful and everyone wants it because it's also a symbol for being the top star. And now we have to fight to the death, but not really to the death, just until one of our coats gets knocked off in a sort of weird one-on-one capture the flag situation, because that's how we do auditions. And I'm confused. You see what I mean? Shit gets normal, or shit starts normal, and then it gets crazy. And that's just episode 1. What's to come in the future? No clue. Okay. So we met our cast. We were introduced to the school and its situation. We found out about the promise. We focused a lot on the dreams of all these various characters. We were shown or told about the idea of the top star and this thing that we're all looking for, or looking toward. We were introduced to a couple of characters who are either child prodigies or otherwise super awesome, like Maya and Claudia. Introduced to the sort of dog-eat-dog competitive world of these players, that auditions essentially lead to a death game, and competition is part and parcel to this. There's a weird balance between camaraderie and friendship, and also being constantly at one another's throats, because we are all aiming for the same goal, and it is limited quantity. We cannot all be the star. So a lot can happen with this. There are lots of elements of Yuri romance all over the place. I found it very interesting in the first episode that those elements seem to be pretty heavily desexualized, in that they weren't forwardly or outwardly sexual, or attempting to be titillating. Something that I appreciate, but it's also something that, when noticed, is worth noticing, because it means that there's thought being put into it. I don't know if I'm explaining that as well as I could, but like, in my mind, one of the defaults for anime is, if female character in situation where fan service possible, make fan service because money, right? But and that means that to go against that default takes actual thought, in my mind. Yeah, so there's romantic aspects everywhere. There are competitive aspects everywhere. Deep-seated competitive aspects. Like, this is everyone here's dream and their core person, competing against one another by acting as other people, but we'll get to that. Okay, yeah, sure. Got lots of questions. Don't know how many of them will be answered. We kind of just got like a broad strokes introduction to everything in the show. There's insanity right beneath the surface of perfectly normal things. How insane will we get? I don't know. What is the source of the insanity? I don't know. How symbolic is it? I don't know. How real is it? Is the giraffe really there? That's I guess we could boil down all of those questions to one simplified question. Is the giraffe really there? If not, what is the giraffe representative of? Is it representative of a patriarchal, male-dominated hierarchy behind the scenes that's enabling and like creating this competitive environment for its own purposes? Maybe. I don't know. Or it could just be a fucking talking giraffe. That's what I mean by, is the giraffe really there? How much is real? What are we seeing? What are we experiencing? How much is metaphor? How much is symbol? I don't really know. Kind of curious to find out, though. Anyway, this, despite me talking at a lightning quick pace, has gone on long enough. We are like 15 minutes into recording at the beginning, and we haven't even started episode 2. Oh, geez. But we had a bunch of things to talk about, so that's okay. I'll just say this. I found episode 1 of Revue Starlight fascinating and bombastic and interesting. I found it cute and fun and creative and cool. I like the characters so far. There's enough of a wide variety of characters that I'm afraid we won't be able to focus on all of them, but I'm satisfied with the breadth that we have. Now the question is depth on those characters. The show's interesting. Where's it going? I don't know. Let's find out. Cool. I'm gonna take a break and blow my nose, because now I need to blow my nose. But then I'll see you in just a minute, and we'll do the syncing thing, and we'll get ready to go. Okay? Okay. Alright, nose is blowed. Let's watch Revue Starlight episode 2. So, I've got episode 2 of Revue Starlight using the Ripple subs up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. If you would like to do a syncy thing and sync up your own copy of episode 2 of Revue Starlight with the timer-based version up on YouTube, you are welcome to do so. Just get your copy ready because the beep beep timer to count you down to 0 when we will begin will be coming at you now. Okay, back in the room. But whose? I will seize my own star. Oshimi? And Nana. Going out early for a run? Yosh. Okay. Flashes and memories of the moment she lost. Yeah. So what happens after? And Hoshimi's the one who invited her. Uh-huh. Yeah, just a weird dream. He. Eh. Oh, hi. Yeah. When did you get here? Oh. This is an odd location. Why are we here? No idea. We have an OP. Okay. Wait, we had... No, we didn't. Wait, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Okay. I'm stupid. Ignore me. At the top of that tower. Yeah, okay. We did have this. I'm stupid. Ignore me. The bike, which she got the license for in Overture. Okay. Little bits and bobs. Holding each other's hairpins. Clinging to one another's promises. Claiming position 0. So literally everyone has their thing on the left side except for Hikari. Yeah, seriously, you were just told. Yeah. Confidential, confidential. Yeah, you're getting third wheeled real hard now. Sorry. And they're here. Looks like Ruko is dead. Oh, she was just asleep. Hmm. Okay. Mm. I don't know, banana. Hmm. Didn't something like that happen in Utena? Where she wins the first duel and then has to repeat it? Who was Claudia staring at? Was she staring at Maya? Ah. Hmm. Looks like we're out of her range. Maybe she needs a lower register. Why are we holding it? Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Wakarimasu. Too late. She's in it. Oh, hi, banana. Hoshimi continuing to practice, continuing to train. Hmm. Why is banana scaring me right now? Ada! Okay. Whoa. Could that be mine? Well, you'll have to defeat them. So what is going on with you, Hoshimi-san? if you're not here to learn. So is she the embodiment of hard work that doesn't quite pay off? Oh, okay. So that splits our duo, and that forces them to pair. Awkward. Haha. Haha. Gonna try to talk about it? Oh no, oh no. I actually am working toward it. Is this the punishment? Okay, she's just exhausted. Thanks, Banana. You're the best, Banana. See your own role by understanding the big picture. Oof. Rolla. Sorry. You heard. For your own safety, I assume. Kirameki. You don't have enough glimmer. Breakup rejected. Not if you love it. Not if you crave it. It's on. But who's it on with? Is it them against each other? I am remade. Alright, we're just going. Boom. Welcome to your henshin again. The system, the mechanics. It's interesting. It's so depersonalized. I don't know how to. Whoa. Is it Hoshimi again? Oh, we do have to defeat her once more. You'll try. And Tokyo Tower looms. Eternal. Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Overwhelmed, but Maya and Claude. Haha. Faked out. And another. Oh. Oh. Wakarimasu. Oh, we're building to it. Let's go. Dreams versus dreams. Who shines brighter? She does. And thus her voice continues. Sorry, Hoshimi. Outcome unchanged. Yeah. I don't... Oh. Yes, you did. But... Hi. Aww. Oh, wow. Hmm. What did she pick? Okay. Ah, another battle. Okay, Tendo Maya. And there's no ED. Okay. Wakarimasu. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where do I start? I don't know. I don't know. See your own role by understanding the big picture. Not having enough glimmer. If we can't surpass them, we won't be able to stay on the same stage. A real star, the eternal, the lead of your own destiny. Review of desire. That's what I need to look at. I need to look at episode 1. Because we got review of desire this time. What was the first one? It wasn't. Okay, so it doesn't seem to have been listed. If I'm incorrect about that, let me know. But this one is review of the desire, and I don't think that that's related to any of the goddesses that we had, right? I wrote those down. Where did I write those down? Fuck. Fury, escape, arrogance, jealousy, curse, and despair. Yeah, desire not among them. Okay, so separate thing. Can't alter expectations based on which review it's supposed to be. In this case, review of desire. So, I need to check the Utena episode list because I need to know. I remember something similar happening in Utena and I want context. Give me a sec. List of Utena episodes. Okay, so in Utena, episode 1 ends with the duel with Sayonji, and then Sayonji has the rematch immediately after. having been beaten by someone who was previously not a duelist. I don't remember the exact nature of his desire for a rematch, or like exactly what it was about their match that he took issue with, but it strikes me as somewhat similar. Maybe not important, but somewhat similar. That we have Hoshimi here, this respectable character, defeated by a newcomer in a strange way. And then gets a rematch. Okay, so that changes things. I was kind of under the impression that when we had that scene of Hoshimi holding her phone when Karen fell out of her chair in episode 1, I was under the impression that Hoshimi had actively gotten Karen involved in the audition process. That seems to not be the case. It seems more like both phones go off at the moment when people are being called to audition, right? Which makes Karen getting there at all an anomaly, because then it would have been Hoshimi and Hikari getting the call in. Okay, interesting. So she is an individual who is out of place, who was not chosen. This idea of chosen and not chosen just makes me think of Penguin Drum. It's impossible for it not to, because it's such a core theme of Penguin Drum. The idea of the chosen and the not chosen. And Karen being someone who was originally not chosen, who has become chosen. Mr. Giraffe says that he understands that it's because they share the same fate. Again, echoes of Penguin Drum. They share the same fate. So if one of them is to become a star, the other is as well. And if one of them is to fail, the other is as well. Their identities, their futures are intertwined in some way. By the promise that they made? Probably. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. We won't be able to stand on the same stage. All right, give me a minute to piece my thoughts together a little bit more, and then we'll be back. Okay, we'll get into broader production-y things a little bit later, but if there's any place to start on this episode in earnest, I think the start is probably the best point. The point at which we start is a pretty clear indicator of what our episode's focus is going to be. And in this case, we start with Juna, Hoshimi. And it's interesting what we see of her, and what is shown of her, and why. So the first thing we have, maybe we don't notice it at first, and I didn't notice it at first until I went back to it. But what is on Juna's desk? What does she have? And how does it compare with, say, what her roommate has? What Nana has? Because we've seen from a different angle, we've seen all of Nana's stuff, Banana. She's got posters, she's got pictures of herself and her friends, pictures from past plays, she's got cute little figures and stuff, she's got her banana-shaped pillow, she's got a banana-shaped goofy mouse pad, all kinds of little tchotchkes and knickknacks and other things and stuff, random bits and bobs and pieces. What does Hoshimi have? Well, her walls are bare, and this particular framing gives us that pretty clearly, right? Because we've got the lack of symmetry. Her walls are bare, and what's on her desk in the very first scene, it's all notes and stuff. Yeah, the something Shakespeare. No, Shakespeare? I don't know. I actually don't know what that's supposed to be. But they're all books and notes, and I assume a lot of them are plays, and they've all got these post-it notes through them, as though she's been carefully going through and taking careful notes and stuff, right? And there are tons of extra post-it notes everywhere. Schedule and calendar is front and center above everything else, and the things that she's focused on now are front and center. This play, she is focused on it. She wants it. She wants it bad. There's also a little thing, which is on this thing, which is a field memo. There's like a little target, a little archery target with an arrow in the bullseye. So that's a nice little hinty thing. But there's nothing human about this desk. Oh, she also has the same little logo. I think it's a laptop sticker on the far left. Yeah. Besides those, I guess those we could call a little personal touch. But besides those, there's nothing human or personal about this desk. It's all focused on the work, on the stage, on the plays. And this is an indicator of who Hoshimi is. And it'll become more clear as we get more elements to this, but this is our first thing. And we have stuff from the previous episode too, like the line that Hoshimi says to Karen, where Karen is talking about the leads, and Hoshimi says like, "Oh, don't think that the leads have been decided yet. Auditions haven't even started." She's focused on these goals, and more than that, she's focused on like a certain type of restraint and a certain type of focus and a desire for other people to take it as seriously as she does. And we see that come to the fore in the scene where Maya and Claudine are dancing, and all the other girls are getting really excited about it, and she kind of flips out and is like, why isn't everybody else focusing? It's that same kind of like, this is possible. Why isn't everybody working as hard? This isn't easy. Take it seriously. That kind of mindset. Yeah, so the other thing is Hoshimi's up early, crack of dawn. Nobody else is awake. The sky is empty. Everything is empty. Just emptiness. And there's that. Right up there. The little pink glimmer. It shows up in other scenes with her in it as well. It's the sparkle of the tiara. It's the goal. The thing on high that they're all aiming for. And it hovers over her, almost as though it's looming over her. As she goes out early before everyone else and runs, works out, works, pushes herself, it hovers over her. All was out of reach, all was far above. A little bit later, it comes back again. Yeah, we get these flashes, this moment, the loss, the failure. We get this moment to talk to Karen and have her awaken, and she again, very different set of stuff in her room. Lots of personal things. Star, the big floofy star is first and foremost among them, but all kinds of stuff around her. No problem. And then problems have arrived. Okay, and then I think it's one scene after this when the glimmer appears again. I don't remember. I thought it was right there. I guess we could say that it's coming in through the light up there, but it's not quite it. Maybe it's a bit later. Regardless, I know it comes back. But yeah, she runs, she works, she pushes. We get the OP. We will skip over it. Okay, good. Glimmer. This time, different characters, but again, it's there, looming above everything. Glimmer on the back of the mirror thing at the street corner. It's all over the place. Oh, glimmer. Yeah, it appears all over the place. I guess I just noticed it around Hoshimi because that's what I was kind of focused on. But it's there. It's always there. Yeah, there it is. Again. And then I think again, yeah, hovering above her once more. And it appears in this moment where she turns away. Gonna request to have it invalidated. What is it that's causing the break between them? It's the desire, the goal, right? Because it's mutually exclusive, because only one person can have it, because it can't be shared. It's the thing that splits them. So Claudine looking at Maya as a competitor, it seems. But the way that Hoshimi looks at her, it's different. It's not quite as a competitor. It's as a goal. Someone to surpass. And then, of course, Karen is just goofy. Just goofy. Yeah, there's this stuff. I don't know what to think about this stuff. No clue. I don't know what to think about Banana either. I don't know, man. Something about just how forward and friendly she is really scares me. Don't know why. Get some gendered stuff here. Which I guess is maybe a nod toward the Otokuyaku and uh, Musumeyaku? But I don't know. It's a little weird. Because I wouldn't think of Maya as an Otokuyaku, from what I know. But that's how they're positioning her here. Okay, but we have the moment where... Actually, hold on. Before we go any further, there's this one cut of the feet. Yeah, I don't want to see it again. Because it is bonkers good. Wow. That is a crazy cut. I know it's just a little thing, but man, that is a crazy cut. A top star. Thinking about it. Taking notes. Taking notes. And the glimmer once again, top left. And center right. You see, right next to Claudine? It's there and it's there. Always there, always haunting. Very interesting. And then they are forced to pair up. Yeah. Okay. So I think, let me see. Up early, stay late. Self-encouragement, given, I didn't even really talk about that. The little note that she gives herself, I will seize my own star. Giving herself that self-encouragement. Hard work versus talent, that's sort of the core of it. Her desk being all business, the pink glimmer that follows her. Yeah, alright. So, hard work versus talent seems to be the core of this. This is something that's explored all over the place in anime. It's one of the common dichotomies that we get in shonen, even, where we get, and usually the main character is more about the hard work thing, though they usually have some talent element to their thing, but they end up against someone with everything provided for them just because of their nature. They were born with it, right? And that's kind of the dynamic that we have set up here with Hoshimi versus Karin, we could say, but it seems to be more like the dichotomy is clearer if we look at Hoshimi versus Maya and Claudine. They seem to be the more clear opposites of her. She's all about that hard work. Obviously, she's talented, right? You wouldn't be in this school in the first place if you didn't have something to go for, right? If you didn't have the basics, the foundations, the fundamentals. But she doesn't have that something, that extra. And I think that's what Giraffe Boy means when he talks about glimmer. I'm not sure, but I think that's what he probably means. It's that star power, right? That overwhelming something that is more than just being really good. It's the ability to pull people's attention. It's that something, that unquantifiable je ne sais quoi that true top stars have. And it seems pretty clear, I mean, it's been pretty clear just because of framing and the way that everything's been introduced, that Maya and Claudine are the embodiment of that top star potential thing. They've got all the glimmer. From their first introduction when they enter the room, we're shown that. The moment when Maya walks across the dance classroom and we follow her in a tracking shot, it's that. It's that glimmer, I guess, that star power. And Hoshimi doesn't have it. She has to work for it. And it's not fair. It doesn't work. Huh. Interesting that her glasses produce those glimmers. Interesting as well that they're separated from her in this moment. Because I spent some time on this and just thinking about what the glasses mean to her, because they become an important symbol of her later during the actual confrontation and the audition itself. But what do they mean to her? Their identity, to an extent. I think she's the only character in the show thus far who we've seen with glasses on. So that's a portion of it. And then her battleground becomes a part of glasses, right? The openings, the windows everywhere, they're glasses, right? Things to look through. They're also mirrors that allow her to hide herself and obfuscate. How is she... Let's find how she's framed in more normal sequences. Normal, normal, normal. What about scenes where her glasses become opaque? Normal. No, not really. They're just there, a part of her. There's nothing special about how they're framed. It feels important. Given the way that the rest of the pink glimmers feel important, it feels important that when she collapses here, right? She says her piece to Karen, having worked her butt off. She kind of says her piece and then leaves. And then collapses. And when she collapses, her glasses are separated from her for the first time. And when light is refracted through them, it comes as two of those pink glimmers. I don't know. To think of them as like a layer of identity or a persona that she puts on for her own protection, and also through which she sees that as being the only goal. That's possible. It seems like a stretch, though. Maybe I'm reading something that shouldn't be read into. The glimmer from the glasses maybe isn't intentional. Don't know. But there's so much emphasis on the glasses themselves. The fact that they're off when she's in recovery, and the way that Banana hands them to her is so important. And then she puts them on and says, "I see. Coming to understanding." Huh. Don't know. Okay, more glimmers in backgrounds. Again, in this case, being the thing that's causing conflict, right? The fact that only one can stand on that stage. I will seize my own star. This is a nice little moment. It's an interesting little moment, because there's a lot to it. Maya and Claudine are competitors and friends. They're the closest to each other in terms of skill level, right? Or in glimmer and star power, right? But it seems pretty clear that Claudine views Maya as something to overcome, as an obstacle, as a challenge, and Maya doesn't see that the other way, right? This little moment where where Claudine is continuing to practice after everything's over, deep into the sunset, and the sun is going down. Maya, on her way by, without saying anything, flicks the lights on for her. Like, "Oh, here you go, keep practicing." It's almost snarky. It's almost like saying, "You'll need it. You'll need to be on your best if you want to keep up with me." And it seems like she's right, because she wins at the end. We don't get to see their conflict, we just see the results of it. But she does trounce her. It's interesting. And again, the opposite of parallel, let's say. Oh, look, another glimmer. And another one. Hey, look at that. the difference or the intentional juxtaposition and highlighting of difference between Hoshimi and I guess we could say Hoshimi and Karen and their battle versus Maya and Claudine, their battle is interesting and seems to be a crucial like a center point for the episode. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Because this whole idea seems to be so crucial. Okay. Ba 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 ba. Subterfuge, one in a crowd, not just one. Okay, great. Let's move ahead. Move to this point. We jump straight into this. Straight into the kind of a henshin. It's hard to quantify it as that though, right? Because it doesn't feel like a traditional henshin. It's a non-traditional henshin, and it's intentionally so. It's depersonal or non-personalized. When you think of a Mahou Shoujo henshin, a transformation sequence, what's the focus of it? What's the center, right? Where's the camera looking for most of it? It's on the character, right? And as it does its whirls and spins and whatever around the character, what happens? Their clothes or altered outfit begins to appear around them, right? The character will do something and their wrist pieces or their glove pieces will appear on them. Blink, blink. They'll spin and their dress or skirt thing will go floof. Some symbol will appear on their chest. They'll turn and their earrings will go blink, blink, right? Or their hair pieces will go blunk, blunk, right? That's how henshins work, right? We focus on the character. The character is the centerpiece. The character starts out normal. The character does something or activates something and goes into a space that doesn't necessarily make sense, and we spin and flip around them in wonderful, highly animated ways, and bits and pieces of their alternate costume appear on them, and whatever changes will occur, their hair gets longer and becomes a different color, whatever will occur, occurs. But the centerpiece, the focus of the whole thing is the character. What's different here? Well, the centerpiece isn't the character at all until the very, very end. It's the machinery. It's the institution around her. It's all of the stuff that makes the costume, the persona, the stage person, the role, the character. Not the character that the character is playing, right? That's different. It's weird. It's not that we're watching Karen change into a magical girl or a magical fighter or a stage girl. It's that the stage is turning her into a stage girl, right? It's this outside pressure because it's not coming from her. In a henshin, to create a sword, you'd be creating a sword, right? To make an outfit, you'd be actively either using your mental powers or some activation device or something. You'd be making these things manifest upon you through your own will. That's part and parcel to the Mahou Shoujo thing. Instead, it's all this machinery. It's this endless seeming assembly line. And her outfit, her costume, is one among many. It's not unique. There are hundreds of them in rows and rows and rows. These buttons are not unique. There are thousands of them in buckets. The shoes are not unique. They're all the same. But it's all presented as one outfit, one set of things, one thing for her. And there is no transformation. There is only before and after. There is only the transformed. Interesting. But I think the crucial point is the institution, the machinery that underlies. And I think that's the point, capital P point. Literally, this is the machinery that underlies the school where these girls are being taught. This is the status quo. This is the institution. This is all of the history and all of the work and all of the effort that's created it, but it's created it in a specific way, and the specific function and the specific, like, form that the stage has taken, that the review has taken, that the whole process around it, from auditions to finished product have taken, that whole status quo causes problems and is maybe worthy of criticism, and I think that's what we're doing. Okay, that brings us back to the contrast between the two fights that we don't see in this episode. We see one of them, and the one that we see is Hoshimi versus Karen. The other one is Claudine versus Maya. And we have all this basis that we can work off of in showing Hoshimi as a character that has to work for what she gets, right? Okay, when we see at the end, when we see Claudine and Maya post their battle, what do we see here? Claudine fallen. Pillars and Greek architecture fallen, toppled, crushed. Ideas and ideals toppled and crushed. The button severed. Maya standing above her, very intentionally above her, victorious, dominant. Claudine reduced to kneeling. And Maya, what does she say? This is Tendo Maya. There is only one star at the top. And that's the problem, isn't it? That's the core issue here, isn't it? There is only one at the top. There can only be one. You have to. If you approach the top and you're there with a friend, you have to push them off if you want to continue. Maybe a recontextualization of Hikari pushing Karen off of Tokyo Tower. The idea that because they're both aiming for the same goal, one of them will have to fall, and the other will have to choose to push them, to betray them. Okay, we talked about one side of this, and that is utter victory, utter defeat, right? Maya wins, Claudine loses. No two buts about it. Simple as that. What happens in the other battle? Because it's a little bit different. Once Karen is victorious, and our giraffe boy says some things about some stuff, about fate and things, their dream, now we're looking through a reflection through one of the lenses that is analogous to the glasses, to her, alone in the dark, covered by the curtains. And Karen appears and welcomes her back out into the light by saying, "Nice job," by praising her for the good that she did. And they banter. This is really cool. I really like this little tumble salt that she does. Is really cute. I'll aim to become a star with all my might. And the both of them take center stage standing together. And from above, two spotlights, two shining stars, two glimmers. The possibility of a different system. The possibility of rejection. Here, only Maya is lit. And not even from above. Okay. not just one? Why does it have to be just one? Why can't it be more than one? Why can't it be different? Karen is someone here to upset the balance, to upset the status quo, to change the machinery, to alter the institution. Her simple-minded approach, as Hoshimi says, is the only kind of approach that can actually create change, because she doesn't understand the reason that things are the way that they are, and so she's willing and able to question them. In the same way as Utena. Utena is a total baka. she's the dumbest. She's super stupid. She's an idiot. But it's her idiocy that allows her to challenge the nature of reality, to challenge the idea of the Rose Bride, the idea of revolution. Partly because she doesn't really know that she's challenging it, because she's too stupid. Karen's kind of doing the same thing. She has a desperate dream, a desperate goal. That desperate goal is to become top star along with Hikari. Together. Two people becoming top star. But only one can become top star, right? Oh, well then either Karen needs to change or the system needs to change. I have a feeling the battle will be with the system. That's pretty neat. It also raises a question about the staircase in the OP. Because we had that staircase with Hikari alone on the top, right? I don't remember where it was. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but you know what I mean. There was the staircase with Hikari alone at the top, and Karen's cloaky thing with her. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and then there is that other thing, which is that all of their cloaky things are on their left shoulders. All of them. Except for Hikari's. What's up with that? Why is she so unique? Why, I mean, one, why is it blue? Because they're all red except for hers. Two, why is it on her right shoulder instead of her left? Is it just because she's left-handed? Is that what I'm supposed to take away from it? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. So I think maybe that gives me an idea of where we're going with the actual like thrust of the narrative. Let's see, there was some other stuff in, oh yeah, the mannequins and the idea of identity being linked to the glasses. Unclear. Also, just the way that Hoshimi fights is interesting. Constantly shooting from oblique angles, finding opportunities where she's hidden or lost in a crowd. Glasses? Yes, glasses. And the glasses become her landscape. A series of mirrors and lenses and other things, but also locations and vantage points. The crowd of mannequins, all of them taking like dance positions and herself working her way in amongst them. It's interesting. One among many. And this in particular, the glasses on the mannequins. We get this card here, Hoshimi Chuna, age 8. Why age 8? Is this herself as a child, seeing herself as one amongst many? Unidentifiable except for the fact that she has something as trivial as glasses? And then the glasses themselves on an empty seat. Strange. Unclear, I don't know. Fight sequence itself is fun. Nothing that quite tops some of the bombast of the episode 1 fight sequence. Just not quite the same kind of level of quality stuff going on here. Still pretty good though. The song that becomes a duet was excellent and real cool. And the things that we have that seem to be driving toward thematic stuff, very interesting. Now, general production slipped a tiny teensy bit in this episode. It's noticeable in the wides mostly. Let me see. Yeah, like this. The phases are a little wonky. They're real small. There are a lot of shots that choose to show characters from way too far away to actually draw faces on them. Probably because the effort to actually draw faces on them would be too much. This is not bad, but it's noticeable because I think episode 1 was cleaned up a little bit better. This has a few things in it that are just a little bit iffy. Just a teensy bit. Like the whole sequence where they're walking and Karen is kind of chasing Hikari is kind of like that, but it's also kind of done for comedic effect. Like there's a reason for it as well, and they're playing into it. I don't have a problem with any of this. It's just not quite as overall impressive as episode 1's general production was. Hopefully this is probably I assume that this is probably the level that we'll have for the rest of the show, and just episode 1 had a little bit more care put into it. Not a big deal, but I thought I'd mention it because it's not quite as stellar. Sorry. Giraffe Boy continues to be fucking crazy. And then let me see, what else was there? There were a couple of other things. Oh yeah, there's this whole scene sequence with Banana, and the whole sequence with Hikari trying to prevent Karen from being a part of this audition process. Remove her, she's a nuisance. But it seems pretty clear that Hikari's doing this either to protect her own goals or to protect Karen from the dog-eat-dog reality of being a stage girl. Seemingly, but I would guess the latter, that she wants to protect her childhood friend and keep her from getting involved in something crazy and dangerous. There's this stuff with Nana. Okay. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to. From the glimmers that follow characters around and seem to indicate different things. We'll see if the things that they seem to indicate change over time. The sort of reveal about what Karen seems to embody and how that might change the nature of this audition process. And also, I'll make a little comparison, which is that Karen, because of this, if I'm on the right track, reminds me quite a bit of Hibiki, of Biki. This desire to reach out to others, to cooperate when conflict is the norm, to communicate when lack of communication is the norm. It reminds me pretty strongly of Hibiki Tachibana, and that's pretty cool because I really like Hibiki Tachibana. Reaching out to people, got her armed gear ready to go, you know? Okay, I think this is about the stopping point. A little bit shorter than the first episode. Not by a lot, not by as much as I expected. Still had a lot to talk about. Interesting stuff coming to bear here. All right. We'll see how it gets fleshed out in the future. I am definitely intrigued. Okay. Let's wrap. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight Episode 2. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. If you would like to get Episode 3's reaction a week early, you can get it on Patreon, so check that out. It's linked in the description, whatever. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have. If I missed things or got things wrong or you want to point things out, whatever, throw them in the comments. Please don't spoil me on stuff that's yet to happen in the anime. That'd be really appreciated. Thank you. And yeah, I hope you had fun. I hope to catch you next week for the next episode. See you there. Peace.